This episode is brought to you by my clothing brand, Son of Man. You can go check it out. Season 2, we just launched it through the show notes in the description, or go to sonofmanskate.co.nz and check it out. Hey guys, just quickly before we get into this podcast, I want to thank you so much for checking it out. If you could help me out though, I've been working really hard on this, and it would mean a lot to me if you could go and leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening to this, whether it be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any of the other podcasting platforms. If you could leave a review, that would be absolutely amazing and mean the world to me. So go do that if you can, and anyway, let's get straight into the podcast. Hey, what is going on everybody, and welcome back to episode number 10 of the Son of a Man podcast. We finally made to the double digits, which isn't really much of an achievement, but hey, I'll take it. I've been enjoying this podcast. I hope you guys have been too. If you haven't already, make sure to follow so you can get all the future podcasts and all that. I do 3 a week. Also, if you could really help me out, I think I already said this in the intro, but hey, leave a 5-star review. That'd be amazing. But anyway, today's topic is 3 things I wish I started earlier. I saw someone do a podcast on this. I didn't actually listen to it, so I don't know what they said. But I thought that was an interesting topic, and I thought I'd brainstorm some things that I've been thinking about, and I thought I'd share them with you. And so anyway, without further ado, here we go. The first thing I wish I started doing earlier was saving money. I've been working since I was 15 at McDonald's. I'm still there. I'm 19, but I think it's just one of those things, like the early start is like goes without saying, but you realize like all this dumb stuff you bought. I'm actually pretty good with money. Like I don't spend a lot of money. Like I haven't bought new shoes in like over a year. Like I'm going to soon because they actually got holes and they're falling apart, so I'm going to buy some new shoes. But like I'm pretty stingy when it comes to spending money on myself, which is pretty good. But there's just some things that I'm starting to notice that I'm spending money on. Obviously the past 4 weeks or so have been in isolation, and so spending money really hasn't been much of a problem. There's just been a few like monthly expenses that I'm okay with paying, stuff like Audible, so a free audiobook, or not a free, but an audiobook every month, sorry. But Spotify, but I get that real cheap, like $3.80 a month because the family plan. But yeah, anyways, spending money, probably the biggest thing for me is probably food, to be honest, because now that I'm working like 5 days a week, I'm out for lunch. I don't usually have a big breakfast at home because I start at 6 a.m. every day, and I never get up. I always want to get up early enough, have some cereal, have some toast, whatever it is, but it usually doesn't end up happening. I usually just stay in bed until like 5 minutes before I need to leave, then just get changed, brush my teeth, and walk out the door, which is a terrible habit, and that I'm going to try to fix now that I'm back at work again, but we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I work at McDonald's, and so we get mean like we don't get mean discounts, but we do get a discount, and so I usually end up just buying food there, or if not, I'll go across the road to Subway or wherever. The point is I usually end up getting food, especially if I'm working a longer shift. If I'm doing like an 8-hour shift or so, I'll pretty much definitely be buying food. And so I did the calculation. If I spend like $5 a day on lunch, which is pretty cheap, but it's probably like, if I'm being good, I can probably get it to that much. That's like, if I do that 5 days a week for 48 weeks a year, because there are 4 weeks of annual leave, that is up to $1,200 a year. So if I'd been, I haven't been working that much. Like I wasn't doing 5 days a week when I first started, because obviously I was at school and everything, but theoretically, even at just 3 years, even 3 years of just not buying food, that'd be like $3,600 that I'll now have in my account when I could just be eating food at home or making food the night before, which is, I started doing that, but it kind of just stopped after I started. Like once you start eating McDonald's, like it's pretty good, especially because I work there, I cook everything fresh. It's that when the food at McDonald's is fresh, it's actually mean food. But it's just because half the time you get it, it's not actually that fresh. That's why people don't like McDonald's. But I don't know why I'm pointing that out. But bang, bang. The second thing I wish I started doing earlier was reading or learn something new every day. There's this book called The Slight Edge, and there's like a whole bunch of books about just getting a little bit better every day. It's a pretty common, it's not revolutionary, but, you start reading about it, you're like, damn, man, if I read 10 pages a day since I was like 15 or something, I would have read so many books. And 10 pages isn't a lot, but I'd have so many books and so much knowledge. And I'm like, obviously I'm 19 now, so I'm not like, damn, I'm like, I'm not old. I'm cool with where I'm at, but I could be in such a different place if I just read more, or if I just just learn a skill every day, just something new. Or like if I just took a course online, like even a free one, even just watch YouTube videos about a topic that I know nothing about. Like it doesn't need to be super deep, but if I just learned something about like designing or something more about business, like every day, like since I was 15, that would have been like, I'd just been in such a totally different place. And so reading's always been a habit that I try to get into, and I did recently, but I think I'm just reading like pretty boring book at the moment, which I think is what stopped that habit. I was going real good. I was reading tons of books and it was going amazing. I was reading a lot every day out of like, because I wanted to, I was enjoying it. But then, so I thought a book that would be really interesting was Henry Ford's like autobiography. He wrote a book, and there's a couple of things interesting. One, he's like a genius when it comes to business and production and all sort of that. So I thought it'd be interesting to hear about that, but also because it was written like not 100 years ago, but like because it was written such a long time ago, I thought it'd just be interesting to see just from a point of view from a person from a different time, like not that it's like centuries ago, but you know what I mean. I thought that'd be interesting, and it's kind of just boring, to be honest. That book, the Bob Iger autobiography, was so much more interesting, so I might just skip. I'm like halfway through, but it feels like a chore every time I have to read, and then I stopped reading, and here I am. So I think I might just have to pick up a new book and just get back into that habit. And without further ado, my third thing I wish that I started doing earlier was investing my money. Recently I started putting some money in some shares. Obviously the stock market is like real whack at the moment. Don't know where it's gonna go, but shares is one of those long-term things. Like even if I saw this thing, I should have prepared it. It was like this dude put in like let's just say $1,000, and he's been through 3 global recessions, like the past few ones. And he just rode it out. He didn't sell. He didn't get scared of like, oh no, all my money's gone. Because the thing is, like, the shares like go up like all the time. Like if you look over the past say 10 years, 20 years, like the shares would have gone up so much. And even if you go through all the recessions, buying at like pretty bad times, if you ride it out for 10, 20, 30 years, like you're gonna have so much money. Like he turned $1,000 into like 30,000. I just made that up, but like it was something ridiculous, where even though he was buying shares at like terrible times, if you just ride it out, like it always turns out good. And so I think shares is like a pretty long term, it's a pretty safe way to go. I don't have the money to invest in real estate or anything like that at the moment, but if I just started investing in shares earlier, because you get on average again a lot higher returns from shares than you will from a savings account, right? So I've had money in savings account and stuff and all that, but if I could, I'm doing it now. I'm starting to move more money into shares every week. I'm just putting a certain amount towards it every week out of my paycheck. And then hopefully by the time I want to buy a house or something, I'll have a little bit more money to be able to do something like that. But I don't want to stretch this out further than it needs to be. So those are my 3 things I wish I started earlier. But I'll be interested to hear what you guys wish you started doing earlier. It doesn't need to be related to finance or money. It could be just traits or things you do or habits or anything. I'd be super interested. So you should check us out on Instagram. Send me a message at sonofmanapparel, or you can send me an email at sonofmanskate@gmail.com, and I would be super interested to hear what you have to say. But anyway guys, that's it for episode number 10. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out. Hey guys, it's Paul. I just want to thank you guys so much for making it all the way to the end of this podcast. I put a lot of effort into these, so it really means the world to me when you guys enjoy these and leave me messages all about how amazing they are. If you could do me one favor though, just leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening this, whether it be on Spotify or Apple or any other of the podcasting platforms. It would really mean the world to me. I'm really trying to get on that new and noteworthy list, so if you want to join with me, you can do that. Or another thing would even be just take a screenshot of the podcast, chuck it up on your Instagram, whether you leave a review or just screenshot and chuck it on your story. I'll make sure to repost it on Instagram and all our social media accounts. So check us out on social media, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace out.